show you main capabilities and benefits of our DLP. I would like to start with a brief explanation about architecture of our solution, how Safetica One works. So Safetica One works on the client-server architecture model. So we have components which are installed on the server side and on the client endpoint side. Main components we have on the server side are Safetica server itself, Safetica management console, and for storing logs and records, we are using Microsoft SQL database. Regarding the server, it doesn't matter if it's a physical Windows server or virtual machine server hosted in cloud, like Azure or Amazon or any other solution. And Safetica server does not require a dedicated server, so it can run alongside other applications. For storing logs and records, it's possible to use Microsoft SQL database. You can use Microsoft SQL database Express, which is free, but is limited to 10 gigabytes of space. And this is also included in our installation package of Safetica. But of course, for large environments, you can use any of other editions like Standard, Enterprise. And the last, the console, which you can see right now, is used for all the settings and management of Safetica, and I will show you in a second.
आप इसमें नहीं हूं मैं.
Sorry?
Bablu ji, be on mute if you don't want to speak. No need to speak.
Oh, okay.
Please.
And regarding the endpoint components, as Safetica is endpoint DLP, we have also components which run on the endpoint to ensure that Safetica is running correctly. And we have two components, Safetica agent and Safetica client. Both components run in a hidden mode, so the processes and folders are hidden for the users, and they cannot quit them. Users even doesn't know that the processes run on his endpoint. Also, these components run completely independently on the server connection, so even when the endpoint does not have the connection to the server, all the monitoring and DLP policies are still running and functional. That is thanks to the local setting database, which is encrypted on the endpoint. Safetica agent is distributed to the endpoint first, usually via group policy, HPO, or any other distribution tool, but can be installed also locally on the endpoint. And once the agent is installed, the connection to the server is established, and workstation will become visible in the user tree. And then can be remotely from the console deployed Safetica client, which is responsible for all the features. So that's just really quickly for the architecture. And now we can move to the Safetica management console itself and go through the modules we have here. So let's start with the discovery module. This discovery module allows you to see user behavior, usage of applications, visited websites, and allows you to see how the data is handled in the company. As you can see, there are a few sections, applications, devices, websites, and some more. And I will go through them. All of these sections look pretty much the same. On the top, you can see some charts and graphs with the most important information to give you some overview. And below, we have detailed records to give you deeper insight into performed actions. So in here, for example, we can expand one of the applications and see the details in here. So we can see, for example, that in here, this application AutoCAD was used by this user, George Weber, on his computer, PC Weber. We can see the date and time when this application was used. We can see how long this application was used by this user, so how long time he spent in this application, actively using it. And then we can see, of course, the application path where this application is stored. We are also dividing all the applications into categories, the application categories, and we can see them in here. So you can, of course, have filtered all the applications based on the category. So you can see in case there are some dangerous applications, like some keyloggers, miners, or some applications used for the transfer of files. So you can have filtered that, and you can see in case the users are using such of dangerous applications, which can be possibly used for getting the data out of the company. Then, based on these findings, we can put some restrictions. for these users or for these specific applications, and I will talk about this in a second in the protection module. In the devices section, we can see information and details about connected devices to the endpoints where is the Safetica agent installed. So we can see all these types of devices like keyboards, monitors, hard disk, but the most important in here is the section or device type as mass storage. So those devices which can be possibly used to get the data out of the company. So we can see all these details like which user connected this device on which computer. We can see the details about device itself. So we can see some vendor type of the device, also serial number and some more. And we can see when this connection or disconnection happened. Based on these findings, we can see if users are connecting some unknown personal USB master devices or if they are using only those which can be used or are approved by the company. In the website section, we can see information about websites visited by the users. So we can see all details like which, I will put it here, filter, which user visited which domain on that computer. We can see the details about the website itself. So we can see the title of the website, URL of that website. So we can visit that website and see exactly what this user was looking at. And we can see what browser was used to this action. We can see, of course, when this action happened. So we can see when this user visited this website and how long he spent on this website. So in case there are some, let's say, media websites like YouTube and stuff like that, we can see how long these users spent on this website, which are not related to the work. And of course, we can find here also information about websites, like some file share websites. So we can see if users are visiting such websites, which can be used for getting your sensitive data out of the company. We can find it in here. And as I have expanded this website regarding a job search category, we can see also this. So in case your employees are visiting websites regarding job search, you can find it in here, and then you can take action, because it may happen that employee which is going out of the company, which is leaving, may possibly take some of the data with them. So you can find it in here and be aware of that. Regarding some dangerous web categories, we can also restrict this. Later in the protection, I will show you. But in case users are visiting some dangerous website categories, we can restrict it in here, or we can only deny specific files to be going out of the web file share websites. So going to print. In the print section, you will find information about printing in your company. So you can be notified about the waste of your paper resources, let's say. So you can see details, which users. It can be some users from HR department or marketing department, but it can be also users which are not related to these departments, and most probably they shouldn't have printed large numbers of pages. So you can find it in here. You can see the document name, total number of pages printed, and you can see some details about the print. It was a black and white or colored print, some paper size. You can see also the device name of the printer and printer type, and application which was used to the print. Of course, date and time when this print happened. So you can see in here if there are some waste of your resources of the paper in your company. You can see it in here. Then we can block either the print itself or the specific user to print it. In the network traffic, we'll see overall information about data transfers within your environment. So we can be notified or find information in here about all the data which was received or sent. from the computers with where is the Safetica agent installed. We can find here in case there are used some, again, dangerous applications like torrent applications or some FTP clients. And you can find the details about the data transfer itself, like the whole data amount which was transferred through this data transfer, and you can see from when to when this data transfer happened. So you can be notified in case there is some, again, waste of your resources regarding the network. You can find it in here, and then those dangerous applications, which can be really dangerous for environment, like torrent applications, you can restrict it to be used by the users. In the email section, you will find details about emails sent by the users with attachments. So you can see information about the specific user, which sent the email from what email address to the recipient. You can see the email address of the recipient also, and you can see the subject name, date and time of that email, of course, and some details about the attachments. In here, you can see only details about attachments like the file name and file size. But in case we have these sensitive files protected with the DLP policies, we have also option to enable shadow copy, and then we are also able to have this shadow copy downloaded, and then we can see the exact file. I will get to that back in a second in the protection module. And the most important section in here is section files, where we can see the lifecycle of the files, important operation with the files, and we can see where the files are going outside of the company. So in here, I have applied filter to the destination type. So we have right now filtered only the USB mass storage devices, as this is the one of the most common channels to get the data out of the company. But we have also all these other channels like emails, webmails, web, instant messaging, cloud drives, and many more. But let's stick with this one for the purpose of this demo. So we can see all these details about specific users and about the file operations. So we can see that, for example, this user, Edward, transferred, copied some customer reports from his local path. We can see the source location of that file to the USB drive. We can see also the destination location. We can see when this transfer happened. So in case I have here the filter, we can see date and time when this transfer happened. And we can see type of the operation which was performed with this file. So in case it was copied or moved, we can see it. We can see also the open, delete, and rename. And of course, for the other channels, we can see in case the file was uploaded to the web, to the instant message, or sent through email. So in here, we will see all the information regarding the lifecycle of the files, and the users are working with such files, and we can see where the files are going outside of the company, and based on these findings, we can apply some protection rules to this. So this discovery module is not only important to give you overview about users, how are working, but it's important to give you some knowledge of how your data is handled and how we can protect it with DLP policies. And that is something we can do in the protection module. Safetica helps you to identify, classify, and protect your sensitive data. So in the discovery module, we have identified data, and now in the protection, we will classify them and protect them with DLP policies. For better understanding or orientation, we are dividing the protection on two main parts, and that is simple DLP and advanced DLP. In the simple DLP, we are protecting the whole data channels, so we can protect devices, disks, and we can utilize the BitLocker encryption. And the advanced protection starts with the data classification, and then once we classify the files with created data categories, we can protect these files with DLP policies. So let's start with the simple DLP protection. Safetica offers ability to provide unified and simplified BitLocker encryption. So with just a few clicks, we are able to manage BitLocker encryption that is already part of the Windows operation system, but in more simple way. We can just choose the encryption policy to encrypt all disks, and we can use a TPM chip or password or USB key as an alternative. And once we save the settings, the policy will be applied to all the computers which are highlighted in the user tree, and the encryption will start. Recovery information is then stored in the encrypted Safetica database and can be exported from the console. And we have also option to save the recovery information into the Active Directory. Similar with the BitLocker devices, we have option to encrypt mass storage devices. So we can simply add some mass storage device, and we can choose the part of the user tree to which this device will be assigned, and then we will start the encryption with this slider. After the encryption is done, device is protected, and only the computers with the Safetica client installed and that has this device assigned will be able to access the information. Now we can move to the device control. As this section says, it allows you to control devices. We are doing so based on the ports that are used to connect those devices. So as you can see, we have here USBs, card readers, Windows portable devices, and some more. And important thing is that Safetica restrict the usage only of those devices that have internal storage. So only those devices that can be used to get data out of the company. So based on the settings in here, we have denied the usage of USB devices, but employees will still be able to use devices such as mouses, keyboards, headsets, and stuff like that. But if they try to connect to USB flash drive or any other USB mass storage device, they will not be able to access it. We have different levels of restriction. We have complete deny, read only, or the notification mode that will notify the users that they are using unknown USB device, and they will have option if they want to proceed to access the device or not. They will be also prompted that if they will proceed with this operation, it will be logged and recorded. As you can see in here, there is six company devices which are already encrypted, and we want them to be able used by employees. So for this, we have created this allowed zone. This allowed zone works as an exception for the global settings. So based on the settings we have applied here, we have blocked all USB mass storage devices besides those approved in the allowed zone. These are the only one which can be used by the employees. That's for the device control. Let's move to discard. Discard is a module which allows you to grant or deny access to the specific network paths, cloud drives, local paths, or drives. In this scenario, in here we have company is using Office 365, so that's why we have allowed OneDrive Business and SharePoint, and all other cloud drives are denied. This works for both for the desktop application and the web applications. And in case you don't want to restrict the whole specific cloud drives, we can in DLP policies only restrict specific files to be copied to the cloud drives. But if you'd like to, or if you don't want employees in your company to use any of the cloud drives besides those which are approved by you, you can restrict it in here. In the zones section, before we go to the actual advanced protection, where we'll start to classify files and protect them with DLP policies, our best practice is to have created at least one zone, the safe zone, for companies, allowed devices and domains. As you can see in here, there are those 6 devices about which we spoke in the device control. But in here, we have a lot more options. There are some network paths, IP addresses, web addresses, emails, and some more. It's important in the relation to the DLP policies. So, for example, let's say we will have files classified with sensitive data category, We will set up some restrictions so the files can be sent outside of the company through the common channels like emails, but we still want our employees to have the possibility to send these sensitive files via the safe company email domain. So by specifying this in the allowed zone, we can utilize the zone as an exception, so the users will be able to send this sensitive file only to the domain or addresses specified here in the zone. The same way it works for web addresses or IP addresses, so the users will be able to upload data only to the specified ones. Now we can move to the advanced protection part. And we will start with the data categories. To protect our data, we need to classify them into data categories first. We have two main approaches of how to classify data. That's based on the content and based on the origin of the file or the location of the file. The first one, based on the content of the data, is by utilizing our sensitive content scan. This content service is running as part of the Safetica client on the endpoints and is scanning all documents, bodies of emails, also instant messages. You can choose from our predefined algorithms, specific keywords, or you can create your own regular expression. I will show you. The second approach is based on the context rules. So these are focused on the origin of the file, so you can specify the application of origin, website from which data is downloaded, or you can specify the path where data is stored. So let's start with the demonstration of the sensitive data category. I will create a new data category, choose sensitive, and now we will configure. We have created this data category, and now we need to apply detection rules. So in this wizard, we can choose from predefined content. As you can see, these are some national IDs or financial IDs or credit card numbers. In case you don't find needed content in here, you can define your own custom expression as some keyword. We can put here, for example, keyword invoice. Or you can also create the regular expression to look for all of all numbers, for example. If you have a larger number of keywords and you don't want them to write one by one, then you can import also the custom dictionary. You will just put all wanted keywords into TXT file and import the dictionary to Safetica. So we can go through this example for you. We would like to choose the financial data like credit card numbers, IBAN. We will set up threshold for 1. And now we will consider file as sensitive in case there is a content of a credit card number and IBAN and keyword invoice. So now when we save the settings, those settings will be applied to data category and all the policies to that will be enforced. So now the second approach through the context data category. I will show you on this example of already created data category. So I will configure, and as I mentioned, the context data category is focused on the origin of the file or the location of the file. We have here 3 main sets of rules that can be utilized to set up this context data category, and that is application rules, path rules, and web rules. In the application rules, we can choose the application of origin, like CRM or CAD software or another application from which the files are exported. And all these files will contain a classification and will be categorized as sensitive. In the web rules, we can choose a domain or specific file extension that is exported from this domain, and then all these files receive a classification as well. And in the path rules, we can specify the network path, or we can specify the network path of folders where sensitive data is stored. But of course, we can choose also the local path. All the files inside this specific folder will receive a Safetica classification. And also, as long as this rule is created, also all the new files in this folder will be classified. Safetica has its own data classification system, but in case you will have your own data classification system, you can simply import it in, as Safetica is compatible with third-party classification tools like Microsoft Information Protection or any other. Now, when all needy data is classified, it's time to set up DLP policies. In Safetica, our goal is to make DLP protection as easy as possible. So in just few steps, we are able to create a DLP policy to protect the sensitive files. First step is to choose the policy name and to choose the policy type. We have three types. The first one, general. This type does not take any data category into consideration. It will be applicable to all the files. So this is a great way how to make some general rules across the company. For example, regardless the file is sensitive or not, we want to restrict all file share websites, and now we can simply specify that in the general policy. The second one is the application category. This policy is not protecting the specific files, but is protecting the application itself. So in case we are using, for example, CRM system, and all the data which is exported from the CRM system receive classification. But thanks to the application DLP policy, we can protect the application itself, and we can prevent the user from taking a screenshot straight from the application or from copying information straight for the application. So we are protecting this application itself. And the third one is based on the data categories. As you can see, the option to choose the data category became available, and now we can choose to which data category this DLP policy will be applied to. As we want to protect the top secret sensitive files we have created in the data category, I will choose this one. That's it, first step is done, and moving to the second step. In here, we are moving to the actual definition of DLP policy. First, we need to define the policy mode. We have three policy modes. The first one is lock only. This mode will not affect end users at all, but you will see all the information about the manipulation with the sensitive files. Second mode is lock and notify. This policy mode does not restrict the users from performing certain action, but it will provide them with notification when they are about to do action which is prohibited by the policy rules. And this mode allows you to educate users about data security, as the pop-up window will be shown with the message, and they can make a decision whether to continue and breach the policy or not. And then we have lock and block that will simply deny the users from performing a certain operation. There's also option to enable shadow copy. So when user is performing an action breaking DLP policy, like sending sensitive files, so when this is enabled, shadow copy is created on the endpoint and can be downloaded to the server for examination. So we'll choose to lock and block as you want to protect the top secret files and to restrict the users. In policy rules, we are choosing and selecting the specific data channels to be applied in the policy. We can use the predefined template we have in here, but in the customize button, we can choose from some more options. We can choose, for example, there are some screen capture, clipboard, print, virtual print, network file share, and some more. But let's stick with the predefined for the purpose of this demo. So you can define, for example, all cloud drives, or you can choose only the specific ones to be allowed. So we can allow the OneDrive Business and SharePoint, and all others will be blocked. And for some, there is a third option, like for the email, and that is for the safe zones we have created. So we can simply block all email channels, or we can allow sending to the specific domains or email addresses which you have defined in the zone section. And that's it. Second step is done. In the last step, we'll just define the part of the user tree or the department or the specific users to which this policy will be applied to. I'll go with the whole user tree, with the whole company. And that's it, the policy is created. Once we save the settings, the client is communicating with the server, and the DLP settings will be saved on the local database on the endpoint, so even the endpoint will not be connected to the server, DLP policy will be still running and functional. So now we have protected sensitive files from top secret data category with restricted DLP policy. And now how it looks like from endpoint user view. I have here this file, which are some medical records. And this is the file from the top secret data category to which we have applied this restrictive DLP policy. And when the user tries to take a screenshot of such file, you can see that the file is blackened and users cannot take screenshot of it. In case users try to upload this file to some file share website like vtransfer.com, I will go through with this one. I will show how it looks like when the users try to upload this file. Once the page is loaded, I will find this file and will try to upload it here. Give me a second. It's not loading. Yeah, finally. Okay, I will select this same top secret file and I will try to upload it. So let's go to data. So, okay, now I have chosen this file and I will try to upload it. And now you can see that there's some delay, sorry. Yeah, fine. I have slow connection today, sorry for that. There was a window that informs the user about that the file upload was blocked. You can see some information about this transfer, and the user is informed that sensitive file upload was to this address was blocked because of the company security policy. Action was locked. And there is no other option for the user, only close the window and cancel the operation. Now, in case we don't want to restrict the users at all, or this much, we can choose the lock and notification mode. I will find file to which this applied this DLP policy in the notification mode. And what happens when we try to upload this file? Now, I will try to upload this file. Now, we are informed, or the user is informed, that the file upload is not secure. We can see that some details about this transfer, and user is informed about that sensitive files should not be uploaded to this address based on your company security policy. This action will be locked. And now the user has an option to decide whether he will upload the file anyway and breach the policy, or he will cancel the operation and the policy will not be breached. So this is a good way to option also to educate end users about your company security policy and how to work with your sensitive data. Okay, these were 2 or 3 examples how it looks like. Now, I would like to show you 2 more things, and that is alerts and reports. In Safetica One, we have also option to set up some alerts and reports. Let's start with the alerts. Let's create a new one. We have 3 main sets of rules of alerts, and that is security alerts, informative alerts, and service alerts. The security alerts are sent immediately when some incident happens, so you are notified in real time about some DLP policy violations or in case there are some access is denied to websites or applications and stuff like that. So you are notified in real time about some breaching of policy. Informative alerts are sent once a day or once a week based on the settings, and these are sent when some quota is breached. So, for example, some large amount of data copied to the USB drive or large amount of data uploaded to cloud. You are notified about that once a day. And the service alerts are regarding the maintenance of the console and server and are intended for the administrators. So, for example, we can choose to be notified about DLP policy violation. We can have specific data category or to all the policies. And in the next step, you will just choose the part of the user tree to which this alert will be applied to. And then you will select or define the email address which will receive this alert. There's also option to send these alerts into the SIM system supporting syslog. That's it. Alert is created. Pretty the same way, we can create also reports. So we are on some basis notified or informed about actions in your environment. So let's create a new one. You can choose from a predefined default layout, so you can find information from the discovery module about working within the applications, websites, or information about the files. Or you can choose some information from the protection module about DLP logs or some device control. In case you don't find wanted layout in here, you can create your own custom layout. You'll just go to the discovery or protection module, filter what you like to see, and then you will save it as custom layout, and then you'll find it in here. You can choose it as custom layout and use it. So now I will choose, for example, this setting. So in the next step, you will just again decide to which users or to which part of the user tree this report will be applied to, so which users you would like to see in the report. And in this step, you will define the email address to which this report will be sent to, and you will choose the information type. So you will choose if you would like to see charts in PDF format, logs in Excel format, or the combination of both. And you can choose to see detailed logs. Of course, you can have this report have saved on the server somewhere, so you will define server path, and you will choose the time period of this report if you want to have daily, weekly, monthly, quarter, or half a year. That's it. Report is created. So, as I mentioned, Safetica helps you to identify, classify, and protect your sensitive data. In the discovery module, this discovery module will help you to identify your sensitive data and how the users are working with this sensitive data. And based on these findings, you can then, in the protection section, apply the classification to the sensitive data. So we'll have classified, and then you can these classified sensitive data have protected with DLP policies, and you can also apply some general restrictions to the devices, and we can have encrypted also disks and devices. So that is, in general, the main features and capabilities of our Safetica One. Do you have any questions?
Syed sir, hello. Bablu sir.
Hello. Hello.
Bablu sir, कोई query है आपकी please?
Where is applied USB policy blocked by user or group?
Okay, you can create here users and you can create groups here. You can see simple company. Just you can see the tree here, right? You can create groups
Yeah.
here, and according the groups, you can you can say you can move any device to any particular groups here, right?
Okay.
Yeah.
Yes.
Any other query apart from that?
क्लाइंट के ऊपर क्या एप्लीकेशन ये क्या डालनी पड़ती है क्या एजेंट?
Obviously, agent will be deployed on any every machine. Yeah.
हाँ.
Yes.
Okay.
ये agent base है, right?
Where is agent?
Agent you will get here in the maintenance. Can you please yeah, so then yeah, where it at agent here, endpoint, yeah.
Yeah, in here we will get some overview about stations where is deployed Safetica agent. In the update and deploy view, you can have exported the agent.
Yeah, you can download agents from here. Yeah, he's
Yeah.
Michael. He's asking for agents. Yeah, Mr. Said, you can download agents from here for Windows or
Uh,
for Mac.
Windows or Mac. Okay.
Yeah.
Like Linux.
No, Linux is not there. Only Mac or Windows is there.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah. One thing we can do regarding Linux is to have protected files which are stored on the Linux file server. So in case users are accessing this Linux file server from endpoints where a Safetica client installed, then we can also protect these files. But we are not supporting Linux endpoints.
Yeah.
Brief me maintenance part.
Sorry again, please.
Brief me maintenance part. Maintenance dash.
Yeah, in the maintenance section, you can see information about endpoints. So you can see information about endpoints which has already installed Safetica client, or I'll try to install. So in case there are some issue, you'll find it in here in the endpoint overview. You'll see information about that. In the update and deploy, you will get some information about new versions. You can have set some task to automatically install clients and can update them from here. In the endpoint deactivation, you can deactivate the clients on the endpoint, or you can deactivate them also partially only due to some, let's say, troubleshooting issues. In case there are any. In the integration sections, you will set up the integrations for the applications and stuff like that. This is pretty advanced operation. And the other sections, you have some endpoint settings regarding working and non-working hours. So you can set up the monitoring only based on the working hours, and you can exclude those non-working, or the monitoring is running all the time, but regarding the productivity. And other sections are regarding some database management. So you can set some archivation tasks for the database. You can have here define the access management regarding the console. So you can set up different roles for the administrators. In the license management, you will just set up the licenses regarding the Safetica. So you can put here the license numbers. And in here, some overview about categories. And in the computer utilization, you will get some information about computers, about runtime of the computers, when the computer is inactive or active, when users log out, log into the computer, shut down computer, power on computer, and stuff like that. And the summary, how long active or inactive was the computer. Oh, that's just very briefly.
कैलाश कैलाश
Yes, sir, please. Yeah, sir.
यूजर रिपोर्ट जो होती है ना, जो वेब एक्सेस वाली जो यूजर रिपोर्ट होती है ना, इसके अंदर वो स्पोर्ट हो जाती है क्या? स्पोर्ट
Obviously हो जाती है.
कहाँ पे?
Hello, Michael. Actually, he just want to, website reports, web access reports. Is there any way to export the reports? He wants just know about it. I think it is part of web safety. What I know, right?
Yeah. Yes, we have also this web console, Web Safetica, which is a simplified console for the managers, mainly created because it gives some simplified information, which can be found at the management console, desktop one. So in here, you can also see some information about the environment, about the file transfers and stuff like that. You can have some reports exported from here, and some policies, create really simple policies just for blocking dangerous applications and websites.
Michael, actually, he wants to see. They have lots of users which are using, accessing websites, which websites users are accessing, or kind of things. That report he wants to see. Can you please? Yeah.
Yeah, it can be seen here. So in the workplace section, you will see information about applications and websites regarding the users. But as I said, this is simplified information. This is for the manager to give them some overview, but the detailed records are in the management console and the desktop one. Little sneak peek. During this year, we will introduce a new console, which will be combined by these two. So there won't be the Safetica console and management console. There will be only one, which will be web-based and will be used for all the settings and the management. This will come during this year. I don't know the exact timeline, but sometime in the second half of this year, this will come. So this will be discontinued, and we will have only one new console for everything.
Okay. सैयद सर, आपको वो मिल जाएगा, रिपोर्ट्स वगैरह मिल जाएगा उसमें फॉर्मेट में.
ओके ओके, इसमें ऑप्शन तो आ रहा है एक्सपोर्ट टू पीडीएफ.
यस 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 यस, मिल जाता है.
हाँ, ओके.
Michael, one more query. See, can we restrict endpoint users to run or install .exe files? Hello.
Yeah, actually, we cannot restrict users to run these files. We can restrict users to transfer these files. Yeah, because Safetica's endpoint DLP, so we are focusing on protecting the data to go out of the endpoint. So we can set up some restrictions to be sent these files outside of the endpoint, but we are not. We cannot restrict to run these files.
No, let's suppose if I talk about application control. On application control, is there any possibility?
What kind of application control?
See, let's
I don't
suppose I have a exe .exe any file. Okay. See, I don't want to run or install that particular file to my endpoint users. Can we?
Yeah, this cannot be managed with the Safetica. As I mentioned, we are not focusing on that. So for this, you need to use some I don't know, rights management or something like that. I'm not sure.
You mean to say it is there, right?
No, it's not in the Safetica. In Safetica, you cannot block off running these exe files. You cannot only restrict the transfer of these files because we are focusing on the data transfers, like on the DLP solution.
Okay, got it.
exe ब्लॉक नहीं करेगा ना?
नहीं, exe ब्लॉक करने है सर.
ओके, ठीक है जयप्रकाश.
ओके,
कैलाश.
हाँ सर. ठीक है.
ठीक है.
और इसके अलावा और कुछ क्वेरी आपकी प्लीज. अभी माइकल भी लाइन पे है. और भी कुछ है सेफ्टिका का. कैसा लगा आपको प्रोडक्ट?
गुड प्रोडक्ट है. इसका ट्रायल अरेंज कर देना. ट्रायल अरेंज करके फिर ट्राई करता हूँ मैं क्लाइंट्स के ऊपर.
हाँ, इसका ट्रायल करता हूँ मैं करवाता हूँ. डोंट वरी. और कुछ क्वेरी है आपकी, ये बता दो अभी. ओके है ना एवरीथिंग?
अभी तो कुछ नहीं है. आफ्टर ट्रायल के फिर मैं ट्राई करूंगा. फिर कोई क्वेरी हो वो ज्यादा बेटर, प्रैक्टिकल ज्यादा बेटर रहता है.
समझ गया. नो श्योर. ठीक है, फिर मैं ये बाइंड अप करवाएं कॉल. ओके है ना?
यस. ओके. थैंक यू मिस्टर
Michael, thanks for your presentations and demo.
Sure.
Yeah.
You're welcome. No worries. So if there are no other questions, we can in the meeting. In case you will need anything, just let us know, and we will help you or assist you as needed.
Exactly. Yeah, we'll do that.
Okay. Sure.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Mm-hmm.